Good evening. Today I will discuss about cell. What is cell? Cell is the smallest structural, functional and biological unit of life. Cell is also called the building blocks of life. What is cytology? The branch of biology which deals with the study of cells is called cytology. Who coined the term cell? Robert Hooke coined the term cell. What is cell theory? Cell theory was given by Matthias Jakob Schleiden and Theodor Schwann in the year 1838 to 1839. It was refined further by Rudolf Virchow. The main postulates of cell theory are all living beings. First, all living beings are made up of one or more cells. Second, cells are the basic structural, functional and cells are the basic structural and functional unit of all living beings. Third, cells are basically alike in chemical composition and metabolic processes in organisms to similar species.
In organisms of similar species. Okay.
All cells arise from pre-existing cell by cell division. What is unicellular or multicellular organisms?
Based on the number of cells, organisms can be either unicellular or multicellular.
All living beings unicellular or multi.
Now, what are unicellular organisms and what are multicellular organisms?
Yeah, unicellular. Or what is unicellular organisms?
What are unicellular organisms?
What are unicellular organisms? Organisms which are made up of one cell are called unicellular organisms. Example of unicellular organisms are bacteria, protozoa, amoeba and yeast. The organisms which are made up of more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. Example, plants like rose, neem, etc. Animals like humans, hydra, etc. Now I will discuss which is the smallest cell, which is the largest cell and which is the longest cell. The smallest cell is bacterial cell, the largest cell is ostrich egg and the longest cell is nerve cell. The two types of cells are prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. What are prokaryotic cells? Prokaryotic cells are those cells which do not have a membrane bound nucleus. That is, they do not have a true nucleus. They also do not have any membrane bound organelle like mitochondria or endoplasmic reticulum. All prokaryotic is unicellular. Examples of prokaryotes are bacteria, cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria is also called blue-green algae and mycoplasma. Now, what are eukaryotic cells? Eukaryotic cells are those cells which have a membrane-bound nucleus. That is, they have a true nucleus. They also have a membrane-bound organelle like mitochondria or endoplasmic reticulum. All eukaryotes can be unicellular or multicellular. Example of unicellular eukaryotes is protozoa. Example of multicellular eukaryotes is human. Now, what are the three essential?
Now, therefore, we can say that prokaryotes are always unicellular, but all unicellular organisms are not prokaryotes.
Yes.
We can say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what are the three essential?
You please repeat what I have said. All prokaryotes are unicellular.
All prokaryotes are unicellular. But all unicellular organisms are not prokaryote.
Okay. Because unicellular organisms can be either eukaryote or prokaryote.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what are the three essential parts of a cell? The three essential parts of a cell are cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Now, Wow, now what is or
Now first go to microscope.
yes, how microscope is so important in human life. All organisms, unicellular or multicellular, are made up of cell. Made up of cell. Microscope make it possible to see inside the cell which make up all living beings. Without microscope, we cannot see or understand how life works. So we can say that microscope made it possible to see. So we can say that microscope made it possible to see the basic component of life. Thus we can say that microscope is so important in human life. Who developed the first and simple microscope? Anthony van Leeuwenhoek developed first and simple microscope. Who developed the compound microscope? Robert Hooke developed the compound microscope. Now, what is cell membrane? Cell membrane is a very thin, delicate, flexible, selectively permeable membrane which surrounds each cell. Cell membrane is also called plasma membrane. What is cell wall? Cell wall is freely permeable structural layer that surrounds some cell just outside the cell membrane. Cell wall considered the non-living structure of a cell which gives shape, support and protection to the cell. Some organisms that are having cell wall are bacteria, archaea, fungi, algae and plants. Now, what are the differences between cell wall and cell membrane? The differences between cell wall and cell membrane are: cell wall is hard, cell membrane is thin and flexible. Cell wall is freely permeable. Cell membrane is selectively permeable membrane. Cell wall is a non-living structure of a cell, whereas cell membrane is living structure of a cell. Why cell membrane is called the selectively permeable membrane? Cell membrane is called selectively permeable membrane because it consists of fine pores that allows only certain molecules to pass through it and prohibit the others. What is protoplasm? Protoplasm is generally used to refer to the living part of the cell. It is the fluid living content of the cell. It is the fluid living content of the cell.
Do you want to take some water?
Yes.
Okay, go. Go first. First go and take some water. Okay. Come first. Okay.
It is the fluid living...
you are saying about protoplasm.
Yes.
Okay.
It is the fluid living content of the cell which encloses the cell membrane. Which encloses the cell membrane. In eukaryotes, protoplasm. In eukaryotes, protoplasm which surround the nucleus is called cytoplasm, and that inside the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. What is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is a colorless and translucent. Cytoplasm is colorless and translucent, semi-liquid jelly-like substance which surround the nucleus within the cell membrane. Organelles are suspended in the cytoplasm like mitochondria or endoplasmic reticulum. The cytoplasm is composed of water, salt and protein. What is nucleoplasm? The part of protoplasm which encloses the part of protoplasm which encloses the nucleus,
which encloses within the nuclear membrane.
Which encloses within the nuclear membrane but not forming the nucleolus is called nucleoplasm.
Okay.
Now what is an organelle? Organelle is a tiny or organized or specialized cellular structure that performs specific function within a cell. Some organisms are
organelles.
Some organelles are nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, vacuole, Golgi apparatus,
Golgi apparatus,
etc.
Okay.
Lysosome, etc.
Okay.
Now, what is nucleus? Nucleus is a major part nucleus is a major part in
nucleus is the major organelle.
Nucleus is a major organelle found in eukaryotic cell that contain genetic material, that is DNA. It is a small spherical mass that is found almost in the middle of the cytoplasm. What are the functions of nucleus? The functions of nucleus are: nucleus is the command center of the cell. It controls and regulates the activities of the cell like growth and metabolism. Now, nucleus within the nucleolus is a part of ribosome.
Within the nucleus, nucleolus is present, and what is the function of nucleolus?
The function of nucleolus is the site of ribosome biogenesis.
Okay.
And the third.
And ribosome is necessary for the synthesis of proteins.
Yes.
So nucleolus, which is present within the nucleus, is responsible for ribosome biogenesis, and this ribosome is responsible for the synthesis of proteins.
Yes.
Okay. Next.
Now, third one. Nucleus
Is the command center.
Over.
Nucleus is the command center of the cell.
Nucleus is.
Yeah, it is the main organelle of the cell. Then come to the next organelle. Okay, then come to nucleolus. What do you know about nucleolus? Come to nucleolus. What do you mean by nucleolus?
Nucleolus is a dense or specialized concentrated area within a cell within the nucleus. Nucleolus is the major part of the nucleus. The function of nucleolus is the site of ribosome biogenesis. Ribosome is used for synthesis protein.
Synthesis of proteins.
Synthesis of protein.
Very good.
What are chromosomes?
Now, what are the differences between nucleus and nucleolus?
The differences between nucleus and nucleolus are: nucleus is a cell organelle, whereas nucleolus is a component of a nucleus. Nucleus is a major part of the cell.
Number one, nucleus. Just mention the numbers. First is what is the first difference? Number one, nucleus is an organelle. Whereas cell organelle, whereas nucleolus is not an organelle. It is not an organelle. It is a part of the nucleus. It is a component of the nucleus. Second one.
Second. Nucleus is a major part of a cell, whereas nucleolus is a major part of the nucleus. Third one. Nucleus is surrounded in cytoplasm, whereas nucleolus is surrounded by nucleoplasm.
Nucleus is surrounded by cytoplasm, whereas nucleolus is surrounded by nucleoplasm. Very good. And number 4?
Number 4 is nucleus has membrane. Nucleus has a
membrane around it.
Nucleus has a membrane around it called nuclear membrane.
Or nuclear envelope.
Or nuclear envelope. Whereas nucleolus do not have any membrane around it.
Very good. Next. Okay, next.
Now, what are chromosomes?
Okay.
Chromosomes. Chromosomes.
It's all right. Continue.
Chromosomes is a bundles of tightly coiled DNA.
Tightly coiled DNA. Continue. Why are you laughing? Why are you unnecessarily laughing?
Chromosomes are bundles of tightly coiled DNA.
Do you remember that?
Remember tightly coiled the DNA which forms thread-like structure in nucleolus.
In nucleolus.
In nucleus.
Chromosomes are not present within the nucleolus.
Nucleus.
Why are you laughing? Are you serious? Continue.
Chromosomes are
actually nucleolus. Actually nucleus. Nucleus. What is there within the nucleus? Nucleoplasm. Within the nucleoplasm, thread-like structures are found, which are called chromatin fibers. And during cell division, what happens? These chromatin fibers thickens and form ribbon-like structures, which are called chromosomes.
Chromosomes are actually hereditary factors. Chromosomes are actually hereditary factors which carry the genetic information. Why chromosome is important? Chromosomes is important because chromosomes contain genes. These genes are responsible for transmitting characteristics from parents to offspring. So we can say that chromosomes carry the genetic information. Okay. How many chromosomes are human body?
How many chromosomes are there in human body?
There are 23 pairs of chromosomes are there in human body. There are 23 pairs of chromosomes are there in human body. That is 46 chromosomes in total. Out of 23 chromosomes,
23 or 23 pairs of chromosomes.
Out of 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 pairs of chromosomes are autosomes, and the remaining pairs of chromosomes.
Remaining pair of
chromosomes is sex chromosome.
Are called sex chromosome.
Why cell division is important? Cell division is important to produce new cell. New cell is need to be produced for replacement of dead and worn out cell. Second, repair of tissues. Third, growth of tissues. Fourth, reproduction. Now, what is mitochondria? Mitochondria is a membrane-bound organelle found in most eukaryotic cell, which is associated with the production of energy in the form of ATP. What is the function of mitochondria? The most prominent role of mitochondria is to produce energy in the form of ATP by cellular metabolism.
In the form of ATP for maintaining cellular
metabolism.
Okay.
Now,
and ATP is adenosine triphosphate.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what is endoplasmic reticulum? Endoplasmic reticulum is a name.
Now, why mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell?
Mitochondria is called the power.
Do you know that mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell?
Yes.
Why it is called so?
Mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell because it produces energy in the form of ATP.
Okay, and lots of chemical reactions are taking place within mitochondria, which is known as this series of reactions are called citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what is endoplasmic reticulum? Endoplasmic reticulum is a network of membranous tubules. Endoplasmic reticulum is a network of membranous tubules found in eukaryotic cell. This forms a series of flattened sacs in the cytoplasm. The two subunits of endoplasmic reticulum are rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. What is rough endoplasmic reticulum? Rough endoplasmic reticulum is a series of connected flattened sacs where ribosomes are attached on the outer surface, giving it a distinctive appearance under the microscope. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is present in all parts of the cell. Mitochondria is present in all parts of the cell.
Rough endoplasmic reticulum.
Rough endoplasmic reticulum is present in all parts of the cell, but the density is higher near the nucleus and Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus.
Okay.
Now,
that means the main concentration of this rough endoplasmic reticulum is near to the nucleus and Golgi apparatus.
Yes.
And you will see that this rough endoplasmic reticulum is attached to the nuclear membrane. It is continuous with the nuclear membrane.
Yes.
Okay.
What is smooth endoplasmic reticulum? Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is a series of connected flattened sacs where no ribosomes are attached on the outer surface, giving it a smooth appearance. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is more tubular than rough endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is distributed in all parts of the cytoplasm. Now, what are the functions of rough endoplasmic reticulum? The two functions of rough endoplasmic reticulum are: first, rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in folding, translation and folding of proteins. Second, rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in the production of enzymes for lysosomes. Now, what is the function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum? The function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum is is to produce lipids. Helps in the process of lipid.
Helps in the production of lipids. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in the production of lipids like
cholesterol and phospholipids, which helps in the formation of all membranes.
Membranes of the organelle. Even if we see the cell membrane, it is made up of phospholipids. If we see the membrane of the organelle is they are also made up of phospholipids. So the lipids which are formed by the smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in the formation of membranes of the organism. Okay.
Now, what is vacuole? Vacuole, yeah, what is vacuole? Vacuole is a membrane-bound organelle. Vacuole is a membrane-bound organelle which looks like closed fluid-filled sacs in eukaryotic cell, which looks like closed fluid-filled sacs in eukaryotic cell, with no definite shape or size. What are the functions of vacuole? The functions of vacuoles are vacuoles. Sometimes vacuole is used to store waste products. That is, it acts like a garbage disposal site. Vacuole considered the storage of water and nutrients. Vacuole of plants considered the storage of water
vacuoles of plants.
Yes.
Vacuoles of plants
considered the storage of water and nutrients.
Vacuoles of plants stores waters and nutrients.
Well,
considered, what do you mean by considered?
Well, whereas vacuole of animal stores excretion and
vacuoles of animals are involved in the process of excretion and secretion.
Vacuoles of animals are involved in the process of excretion and secretion. Third, vacuoles maintain the hydrostatic pressure,
internal hydrostatic
pressure of the cell. Now, what is plastid?
Now, before going to the plastid, I think you are missing one organelle, important organelle, which is involved in the process of cell division. Can you name that? Which organelle?
Centrosome.
So, now what are the functions of centrosome?
The functions of centrosome are centrosome is used to organize microtubules, which is the major part of the cytoskeleton. Second, centrosome is involved in the process of cell division.
So, if the question comes to you, name an organelle which is involved in the process of cell division.
It is centrosome.
It is centrosome. Okay. Very good. Now go to plastid.
Now, what is plastid? Plastid is a double membrane-bound organelle found in plants and eukaryotic algae. Now, there are three parts of plastid. The three parts of plastid are chloroplast, chromoplast, and leucoplast. What are chloroplast? Chloroplasts are green plastid which conduct. Chloroplasts are green plastid which contain chlorophyll, which helps in photosynthesis. Now, what is chromoplast?
Photosynthesis is a process where the chlorophyll present in the chloroplast traps the sunlight, and in presence of water and carbon dioxide, it produces the food for the plant.
Yes.
That is, it produces sugars. It produces sugar for the plant. Okay. And not only plant and eukaryotic algae.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what are chromoplasts? Chromoplasts are colored plastid, but they do not have chlorophyll. Chromoplasts contain the color
pigments.
Pigments red, orange, and pink.
Yellow yellow, orange and red.
Yellow, orange and red.
Okay.
Chromoplast.
Yellow and orange are the main pigments of the chromoplast.
Yes.
That means chromoplast are colored plastids that are not green in color. That means that did not contain chlorophyll.
Yes.
Okay.
Chromoplast is present in flowers and fruits.
Okay.
Now, what are leucoplasts? Leucoplasts are colorless plastid which are found in bulb, seed, and root. Leucoplasts contain
It doesn't contain. Leucoplast helps in the storage of.
leucoplast helps in the storage of starch, fat, and protein.
Okay, you have to practice a lot.
Yes.